So today we are going to see functions. Let's create the page. Functions. JavaScript functions. So can you tell me what are the JavaScript functions? Hello?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by JavaScript functions?
There is a keyword.
Function is a keyword, okay. Then what? Function is a keyword. That's it. Only function is a keyword. What do you mean by function? How do you define function? Day 25, and here we can say function basics.js. Function basics.js. So when you talk about the function, collection of the statements. Remember that? Collection of the statements. So function is written by the keyword called as function, right? And this function we will write collection of the codes over here. For example, function start running. Can you see a name of the function? Name of the function. If you can see, this is the name of the function. This is the basic syntax of the function. Function keyword, name of the function, round brackets, and the curly brackets. In a line, I will write something like this. If you see, this is the function start running. This is the name of the function. So here we can have parameters. We can add some parameters to the function over here. And this is the function body. This is what? Function body. Now start running, I can add one parameter from. Remember that, from. So here you can see function start running, start from where, and to, from and to. There are two parameters we have, from and to. Well, these names can be anything. These names are user defined, no problem. Getting my point? There is no error. So function name can be anything. The parameter name can be anything, right? Parameter name can be anything. And inside the body, what we can simply write, console.log. What do you mean by this? Backticks. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do you see my screen or not?
Yes, sir.
So I have written the backtick. Now inside this, I can say start dollar from to $2. Any question in this line? Hello?
No, sir.
Do you understand this line?
Yes, yes.
So this same can be written how? If you don't want to write the backticks, same can be written start,
Start. Plus.
correct, plus from
Plus.
plus 2 plus 2.
Two.
Both the lines are same, but this is from ES6,
Yes.
ES6, and this is traditional JS, ES less than ES6, ES5 we can say.
Yes.
This is the traditional one. This is the ES6 one, right? Well, that's not the concern right now. We are understanding function. Start running. From is called as parameter. To is also called as parameter, right? Function parameter. Well, it can return also. Return. Something like that. Here we can say return total distance 10. Or we can say 2 minus from. Simple equation. Total distance we need to return. Return 2 minus from. Correct? Do you understand this or not? Now,
What is the return, sir?
so return is a statement. So function will process something, right? So it will process the data by using the parameters from and to. It will perform some calculations inside this. It will perform some calculations inside this and then return the output, right? You will get to know. Now see, I can call this function start running. So I can say start running from the 10th point to the 40th point. Start running from 10 to 40. And if we run this project, cd day 25, correct? And here we can say node function basics.js. Can you see start from 10, start 10 to 40, start 10 to 40. So these two lines are getting printed, which means that the start running function we have, and that start running function will ask some game character or some car to start running from the 10th point to the 14th point. Correct? Consider that you are developing a game, and in a game there is a one character. To that character you need to give a run effect. So start running from and to, start running from 10 and go up to the 40. Now it is going to perform some calculation. Presently it is not performing any calculation. Simply it is printing. But in the real scenarios, it might do some calculations. It might do some processing, right?
Yes, sir.
And it might return to this thing. And it might return output of the calculation from the function. Now see, so here let's have one variable, calculate distance. Here I can say distance and start running from 50 to 100, because it is going to return a number. Yes or no?
Yes.
It will return a number, correct?
Yes.
It will return a number. So yesterday we talked about what is a number, a data type.
Yes.
Also we have talked about JavaScript is dynamically typed programming language,
Yes.
which means that we'll talk about that little bit later on. So start running 40 and 10, and see here 2 minus from, 2 from would be one number, 2 would be one number.
Yes.
So this expression, we call this thing as what? Expressions. So this expression is going to return a number. Number is a data type. And that's why we can create another variable, distance. Now this line would be getting, whenever you call the function, so this thing is called as function call. This thing is called as function declaration. Declaration. So here you declare this is the full function declaration, right? Function declaration. The from and to, these things are called as parameters. So I will write it here. Parameters. These are what?
Parameters.
From and to are parameters. And whatever you have written inside this curly braces, start curly brace, end curly brace, is the body. And a return statement. This is what? Return statement. So whenever you talk about the function, it will start from the function. It will have some name. It might have parameters, right?
Yes.
And it might return some value. It might or might not return something. It is not necessary to return every time, right? Now here if I say console.log travel total distance is dollar distance. So here you can say start is this. So what I will do, let's comment this line. Okay, just for your understanding, I have written this. Unnecessarily it is printing. Start 10 to 40. This one 10 to 40. So here is also function call.
Yes.
Here is also what?
Function call.
A function call. Then start 10 to 50, 40. Output of this is 50 to 100. And can you see here? So whatever it has written, so this function is returning something.
Yes.
What it is returning? It is returning a number. That number you are storing in one variable. So here we didn't stored result in anything.
Yes.
But here we know that because you have written the function and you know that this function is going to return the number. So start running 50, 100, that whatever number is going to be written. So this much code is going to return one number. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it will execute this line, it will execute this line, execute this line, execute this line. So whenever you call the function, it will go to the declaration of the function. So this is called as function call. It will go to the declaration of the function, right? Then it will execute this line, execute this line. Each and every line would be getting executed line by line. And at the end, it would be returned some value. That can be anything. Presently it's a number, but that can be absolutely anything, right?
Yes, sir.
So function may have the parameters, may not have the parameters. Function may return, function may not return. But every function will start from the function keyword. Every function would be having some name. Every function would be having body. And whenever you write the function, you need to call it. This thing is called as function call. This thing is called as function call, right? Or function invocation. Some people may call it as a call, or this thing is called as function invocation, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is about what you can say. A few basics of the function. There are more things about the function, right? So here I will go and create a new file. Function. Let's rename this function basics1. Sorry. Function basics1 we can say. 01. Let's see a few more basics. Function basics02. New file. Function basics02.js. Now this is my function. SQR, name of the function, and here I am going to pass a number. I want to make a square. Now, what is the mathematical definition of the square? What is the mathematical definition of the square?
The number into number.
Correct. The number into number. So when you say square, it is the number into number. Just a minute. So whenever you implement some math, so whenever you say a square, what do you mean by square? In the mathematics, square is a result of multiplying a number by itself. A square is a result of multiplying a number by itself. The verb to square is used to denote this operation. Squaring is same as raising the power of 2, that is something different. But when you say square, remember that a number into number is the square, or 5 raised to 2 is equals to 25, right? So how do you implement number into number? So this is the number, correct?
Yes.
Consider this guy as number, and you can say n into n,
Yeah.
n into n. So it is returning
Yes.
a practical implementation. So here what we have tried to do, we have referred to one math concept, and that math concept we have implemented in the programming logic.
Yes.
That math concept we have implemented into programming logic. So SQR, multiplying a number by itself, n into n. This is how you will implement. Now what will happen? Console.log. Here either you can do something like this, const sq or const sqd squared is equals to sqr of 2, and we can type sqd1, or simply, if you don't want to create a new variable and then assign the result to that, simply you can do sqr here only, right? So function basics 02.js 4 and 9.
Yes.
SQD1 answer is 4 and answer is 9. But if you remember, yesterday we have seen JavaScript is a dynamic programming language.
Yes.
JavaScript is,
Dynamic programming language.
what do you mean by dynamic programming language? Dynamic typed programming language. What do you mean by that? When you say programming is a dynamically, JavaScript is a dynamically typed programming language. Now see, for more understanding, let's have console const n is equals to, see this n, not this name can be anything, say number, num, say 10, and here I can say sqr, and I can pass number. So this num becomes this n, correct?
Yes.
This whatever num you are passing over here, or whatever value you are passing over here, 10, this 10 is nothing but this n. It is like n is equals to 10 you have written.
Yes.
So whenever you call this, the n becomes what? 10, and everywhere n is replaced by 10, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So here I can pass num. So this will work perfectly. If I run the project, this will work perfectly. Presently we didn't print it anything, that's why.
Yes.
But this num can be a string also.
Yes.
Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
This num can be, this thing is called as dynamically typed. So this n can be this n can be a number, string, boolean, whatever. There is no restriction over here,
Yes.
right? So this name n can be anything, and you are returning n into n. Now let us see what happens. Okay, we didn't print it actually.
So,
Console dot. Can you tell me what would be the output?
ABC.
ABC would be output, but you are doing n into n over here. What about that?
Yes.
Will ABC into ABC happen?
No, sir.
There is no operation on the ABC into ABC, right?
Yes.
So what will happen?
None.
Yeah, correct answer would be not a number, right? See now.
Yes.
So here this problem will occur many times.
Yes.
So here, if you see, this problem will occur a lot of time, as programming language itself is supporting to this kind of code. Expected n is what? Number.
Number.
But mistakenly you are passing what? String or boolean. Say false or true, whatever. Getting my point?
Yes.
So over here, only expected value here, only expected value is number.
Yes.
If you pass anything other than that, you are going to get a nan, right? You are get a nan.
None.
So what we need to check, that past number or past, we are not going to say number now, because this can be anything, right?
Yes.
So we need to modify this function in such a way that, sorry, let's keep this as it is, and we can create the modified one below function. I will keep that function as it is,
Yes.
sqr1, and here I can say n. So here what we can do, we can check the type. If,
Okay.
you can say, if condition you need to write. So we are going to see what do you mean by if, how exactly if will work, we are going to see that. But to avoid the problem, so we saw the problem, right? What is the problem exactly? So if you pass the data which is not expected, you will get the unexpected output. To avoid that, you need to check if there is something called as, see here, I will show you, console.log type of n, type of this n, and here I will call sqr1 hello, sqr1 hello, and sqr10. Okay,
Yes.
now let us see and let's check. Can you see type is what? String. Type is what? String. Second type is number.
Number.
So sqr10 we can say true. Run it again and gives a boolean.
Yes.
String, number, boolean.
Okay.
String, number, and the boolean. So the type of operator is allowing you to check the type of this data. So we can write a code. If you don't know if right now, that is okay, no problem. If type of n
Equal to.
is exactly equal to, you don't know what do you mean by this triple equals also, we are going to see, but I'm just showing you the solution. So this you need to do every time. If type of n is exactly equals to number, then and only then return, right, n into n.
N.
Otherwise return -1. Correct?
Okay. Yes.
Otherwise return what?
Minus 1.
-1. So here now let's add console to everything. Console.log. 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 So what we are learning over here, as JavaScript is dynamically programming language, dynamically typed language.
Yes.
This data type can be absolutely anything. There is no restriction on it.
Yes.
So inside your code, if you are working with the data which is type sensitive, if you are working with the data which is extremely type sensitive, right, which is extremely type sensitive, you need to check it like this. You need to check it something like this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
So for checking the type safetiness, we have used something called as type of.
Type.
So this can be written in one more way, function sqr2 n. So here we can say if is, so let us do one thing, console.log is nan, and you can do n,
Okay.
is nan, and we can do what, n.
Nine.
So you can say sqr2 34, sqr2 abc, and sqr2 false. Can you see what it is returning? It is returning. So can you see sqr2? So here if you can say this sqr2 34, answer is what, false.
False.
Is nan. So 34 is not a nan. That's why it is what, false. This string you have passed as n, and then we have checked internally inside is nan function. So this is a built-in JavaScript function. Remember that. So this is a built-in JavaScript function which is checking. So given number, which is nothing but this, is nan or not. So can you see the given, you have given n to is nan function. Is nan is a built-in function, right? And it is returning what? True. So it is saying that it is nan. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Now you will get a question. Here also you should expect what?
Yeah.
This should be NaN, right? But if you see here, it is returning the false. Getting my point? Which saying that this is not a NaN. This is NaN. This is not a NaN. This is not a number. This is also not a number. But remember that internally, JavaScript treats Boolean values as zeros and one. Are you getting my point? Internally, JavaScript treats Boolean values, true and false, as zeros and one. So you pass 0 or 1. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So when you say false, you can pass 0. True, you can pass 1. Correct?
Yes.
So if you pass false, internally JavaScript is converting to what? 0. And 0 is not a NaN. 0 is perfect number, right?
Yes.
That's why here you are getting output as false. So this is a number. This is also a number. So this is a number. Is a number. That's why expected answer should be to the is NaN. So is NaN should be what? False. Well, this is not a number. This is not a number. So it should return. So is NaN should return what? True. So this is also not a number. This is not a number. But JavaScript's JS internally convert it to 0 or 1. Internally converts to 0 or 1. And 0 and 1 is a number. Correct? And 0 or 1 is a number. And that's why here you will get output of is NaN as false.
Yes.
You got my point? So we can utilize this function and we can say over here. But because of this, the false, because of this is not a correct approach. Right? But you can write a if condition like this. If is NaN is NaN and N, then you can return N into N. If it is not a number, so you will need what? Not. So if is NaN is exactly equals to what? False. You getting my point? If is NaN, so here
Sir, the equal is
3 times. So we'll see that, don't worry. So is NaN, N is triple equals false. So false, it is becoming false in 2 cases. If it is a number, only technically it is only in 1 case. If it is a number, it should return what? False. Other than that, it should return what? True. But here JavaScript does some magic. That's why I will not suggest you this approach. Why? Because this thing gets changed for the Boolean. If you pass false over here, still it is going to try to do false into false or true into true, which is 1 into 1 or 0 into 0. Correct?
Yes, sir.
That's why a recommended approach is this, checking the type of this N. It should be only number.
Yes, sir.
I hope you got it.
Yes, sir.
So now I hope you got to know what do you mean by parameter, what do you mean by return, what do you mean by name of the function.
Yes.
Parameter, return and name of the function. I hope these things are clear to you now. So this is about what you can say, basics of functions. Correct? Well, this n can be anything. Let's go to the another example. Sorry. So function basics 1, function basics 2 we have seen. Function basics 3. New file. Function basics 03 .js. Right? Now what we need to do? Now what we need to do over here? We need to create a function, right, which can be assigned to the variable. If you go to the yesterday's code data type, can you see here we have written something like this part. So const fn is equals to you can assign any function, or you can assign absolutely any function. So let me create one function. And here we can say, and what we need to do exactly here, uppercase, or simply we can say, or let's keep it simple, function, say up. Okay, function up, we have done this thing. Up will accept one parameter, say up by how many pixels, say pixels. Go to the upward by how many pixels, and here we can say console.log px. Okay, something simple. We'll try to keep it very simple. So const operation 1 o1 is equals to, can you see, I can assign up to this. See,
Yes.
I'm not calling over here, remember that. So here this is the up function. If you attach these two, right, and pass something 10 or 12, this is a call. Presently it is not returning anything. I will show you this also. If it is not returning anything and you assign to one of the variable, what will happen? Console.log. Can you tell me what would be the output of o1? O1, this output. What would be the output of this O1? 12. I'm saying O1. Output of O1. What is the output of O1? See, it is not returning anything, right? So you can expect the undefined. So first it will print this console.log 12. So it will print 12. Sorry, not here. Basics 03. Can you see 12? So this 12 is getting printed because of here this call. This call is going over. This line gets executed. This line gets executed. It will print what? 12. But you are assigning up to the O1. But up is not returning anything. So you are trying to assign undefined to the O1. And that's why second O1 would be there. Second O1 would be what? Undefined. You getting this or not?
Yes.
Why output is undefined?
Yes.
Because you are not returning anything. Here, you are absolutely not returning anything. That's why you are trying to work with undefined. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Why output is undefined? see, interviewer is going to ask, or interviewer is going to present you such questions only. So here if you can see console.log px, so answer is 12 and undefined. Undefined because this O1 is containing undefined and up is not returning anything. Up is absolutely not returning anything. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So this is one case. Now see const O2 or const O2 is equals to up. Now see in this case, this is a call. This is a function call. This is not a call. Remember that you have not, whenever you say call, call should have these two brackets and expected parameters.
Yes.
Call should have these two bracket and expected parameters. This is not a call.
Yes.
This thing is missing in this. It is not a call, but it is assignment or reference assignment. Means if you try to console.log O2, can you see it is referencing to function, which function? Up function. See here. So 12 undefined and it is referencing to which function? Up. Which means that I can call something like this O2 and 67. This is do you understand this or not?
Yes, sir.
So O2 is containing a reference of up function. O2 is having reference of which function? Up function. So either you can call like this up 12 or you can call like O2 67.
67.
Same thing will happen. Can you see? Here answer is 67. Here answer is 12. The way 12 has been printed, in a same fashion 67 has been also printed. Any question?
No, sir. Clear. The 67 is a up.
67 is what?
Up and pixel.
See, O2 here, what you have done? The reference of one function is assigned to O2. Up is assigned to what? O2. So here, this is normal variable O2. O1 is normal variable. O2 is also normal variable. Correct? O2 is variable. O2 is variable. O1 is variable. Now, O1 variable is containing the value written by the up function. Value written by what? Up function. What O1 is containing? Value written by the up function. but O2 is not containing the value written by the up function, but O2 is containing the function reference itself. Means O2 is pointing to the reference of full function. See here,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
O2 is containing reference of full function. O2 is containing reference of full function up. Reference of full function up. So either you call O2, like this, or you call up 67 like this. One and same. Because O2 is equals to up. O2, whatever O2 is just another name to the up. Either you can directly call O2 like this. In turn, it is going to call this one internally. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
So that's the meaning of yesterday's code. That's the meaning of yesterday's code. One variable can hold reference to the function.
Yes.
Now functions, see here, O3, operation 3, instead of, so this thing is called as named function. Named function. The function is already having a name called as up.
Yes.
But you can write unnamed function. Remember that unnamed functions are assigned to the variable.
Yes.
See, there is no name over here, right?
Only data parameters.
And here we can say return n into n.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Only keyword, these two brackets, body, return statements.
Yes.
So if you want to call this function, you need to take a help of
Variable.
O3 variable. If you want to call this function, but again if you see, function is assigned to the variable.
Yes.
Function is assigned to the variable. So if you want to call it console.log O3, and I can say 2. See now 4. You can see the output 4. But this function is not having name. So one variable can hold a reference to the named function. Right? Also remember that this is also reference to the named function. Here you have called it.
Yes.
This is a call. This is a function call. But if you do something like this is not a call. You are printing reference. See now what will happen. Can you see function O3 and then the call of the function?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So when you talk about the function, in short, function is a group of similar statements which are reusable. So you can again and again call O3. But now consider that you don't have anything. So here you can say const op, and here you can say, here you will define one variable const or let n is equals to 34 and op is equals to n into n. This is not a reusable, right?
Yes.
If you want to make a square, you need to write this block again and again. So in first code you have written this, then you are developing a navigation bar. In a navigation bar also you need to have, a square. Again you will write same code with different variables. Getting my point?
Yes.
But if you wrap this thing in some piece of reusable code, so you can call O3 n number of times. So whenever you say function function allows you reusability. Function gives you a facility of reusing it again and again. So what we have seen today, what is a function? A simple function we have written. Basics, function as a JavaScript is a dynamically typed. We need to take care of types like this. What do you mean by returning the function and other things we have seen? Then we have seen anonymous functions. So these functions are called as anonymous functions, the functions which are not having any name. They are absolutely not having any name. These are having some name.
Yes.
Right. Now what I wanted to show you, so new file, function basics 04.js. So presently, so far you are using one function regularly, built-in function. Remember that, console dot log. Remember that log is a function. Whatever you say console dot log, log is a function which is written by the JavaScript developers internally, and to that log function you pass some data.
Yes.
So this is a function. Now what is a console? It is an object. So yesterday we have seen const ob equal to
Function.
brackets objects, and inside there is a one something called as print, and inside this, well, we are going to see this in detail, don't worry. And inside this you can write something like this. Now how do you call this key? You need a reference of this object ob.print, right? So ob is what? Object. Similarly, console is one object. In the JavaScript, console is one ready-made object, and into that console object, log is function like this,
Yes.
and which accepts some parameter, one parameter. This is one built-in function we have used so far. Console.log. Console is a one built-in object. We will see what that object is containing later on. But into that object, a log is function, built-in function we use regularly. Similarly, we have console.error. If you want to show the error, we can say this is error, and here I can say normal log, and this is error, and here we can say 04. Can you see this is error, this is log. Error is also one function, log is also one function. So we would be using these functions regularly, log and error, right?
What is the difference in log function and error function?
So error generally used technically in your system there are three kinds of streams: input, output, and error. So if you want to show the errors, if you want to represent the errors, you use this error. Now here in the node you will not get that significance, but if you go here, and here you can say console dot console.log, this is normal log, and can you see it is printing like this is normal log, and console.error and we can say this is error.
Error.
Can you see this is, it is getting print in the error form. This is getting print in the normal form. And see,
Yes.
here we are using browsers JavaScript interpreter. It's a Chrome, that's why V8 engine is getting used. And here we are using the Node engine. What we are using? Node engine.
Node engine.
Correct? This is the Node.js. And here also this sometimes this gets in the red, but we need to use some libraries for that. So to distinguish objects, to distinguish the messages, this is form of normal log and this is something error.
Error.
To differentiate something like this, we have two built-in functions, console.log, console.error.
Error. Yes.
We have lot of functions available in the JS, built-in functions available in the JS. So when we progress in the course, we will see time to time.
Yes.
Also, when you learn the DOM, at that time also you will find a lot of functions we would be using, built-in functions we would be using.
Yes.
Any questions so far?
No, sir.
So are you working on the CSS?
Yes.
So now it is your responsibility to work on JS, also
Yes.
on the CSS. Otherwise, you will remember the concepts of the JS and you will forget the CSS. It shouldn't be like that.
Yes.
At the end, we are going to integrate all of them. Remember that.
Yes.
At the end, we have, so whatever project you have done, same project, to that project we would be adding JavaScript. Then same we would be adding Bootstrap, and same we would be implementing in the React. Right?
Yes.
So what I'm saying, whenever you learn a new concept, you need to remember the older concepts also.
Yes,
You
sir.
need to keep practicing the CSS as well.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So this is about today's session. Let me push this much code. Still we are going to see more about the functions.
Yes, sir.
So here I can say JavaScript. Tomorrow we will prepare the notes, and so that you will get the revision also.
Function basics.
Function basics. I hope you are keeping your Git repository up to date.
Yes, sir.
Regularly you need to push code to the GitHub. Any question?
No, sir. Okay.
I have pushed the code, just go through it.
Yes, sir.
Just go through the code. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Otherwise, we are good to wrap it up.
No, sir. It's clear.
Okay, practice it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's call it for a day. We'll meet tomorrow. I'm disconnecting.
Yes, sir. Thank you.